The false card you have for your past is the Seven of Cups. So yeah, this is a really confusing card. It can be about, having to make decisions, not being sure what to do. It can be about some things being hidden and you don't know, what to do because you don't have all the information. It can be all of that kind of thing, being kept in the dark with this man. So I think at this time you were keeping some things to yourself, and I think you wanted to keep to yourself, keep yourself to yourself, if that makes sense. You didn't want to kind of open yourself up to certain people. I actually think, yeah, I'm seeing some people around you and they just didn't understand you. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with people who don't understand you. I don't understand a lot of people. But there is a negative undertone to this. There's a kind of a negative energy around this that I'm feeling. It's almost as if it wasn't like they weren't understanding. It was like they didn't want to understand you and they were kind of baiting you or trying to get you on the back foot or defending yourself. That's the kind of thing I'm getting. It's almost like low-level bullying. It's not quite as bad as bullying, but it's kind of on that track toward that. So, I think there was one person in this group talking to you. They sort of had someone next to them as well, which these people often do. They like to have an audience. So there's a little sidekick as well, and making some comments, little shady comments, giggling and laughing, whatever. And I think you knew these people were going to be like this. You'd been around them before a lot of times, actually. You'd had a lot of experiences with these types of people. So you knew, or these actual people, so you knew what to expect from them. And I think there was some really big, important thing that was a big part of your life, a big passion you had, and it was a part of you. So it's almost like, I think it might be something creative or spiritual. It might be a combination of the two. Because quite often when people are creative people, it's a part of them. The painting is the extension of them. The music is an extension of them, or whatever it is. So that's how this thing was to you. And you were protecting that from these people. And I think you were protecting yourself because you're protecting that because it was a part of you, if that makes sense. Now, you're still working on this. Okay, I'm seeing this really clearly. I just saw this. So I think this thing that you're doing, lights you up, makes you feel alive. And it also has the potential to light up other people's lives as well. I'm seeing lighting up, and you're hiding this thing that was lighting you up and had the potential to light other people up. So look at this card. Now look at the right in the top in the center. If you can see it there, you might not be able to, but if you have these cards, have a look at your cards. Yeah, there's something being hidden by a cloth, and there's light radiating from whatever's underneath that cloth. So it's lighting up underneath there, but you can't see what it is because it's hidden. And there's red around it as well, obviously representing passion. So this is your passion. So you're hiding your passion, this thing that lights you up. You are hiding that from these people. Now, you are absolutely right to do that. I don't want to down these people, but you are absolutely right to keep this from these people. Yeah, there's a Chinese saying just came into my mind. So yeah, don't play the piano in front of a cow. That's the saying. So, I think if you try to explain things to them or justify things to these people, you just end up frustrated, negative. They won't understand. They don't want to understand what you're talking about. They just want to try to make fun or make, something silly about something that was very, very important. And it was a very, very integral part of you, yourself, your personality and your feelings and your spirit. It was a part of you. And you just did not want to open that up and have it being made fun of. And I can absolutely understand that. You did absolutely the right thing. That's what I'm feeling. So don't feel bad about this at all. Don't feel bad about keeping this from them. You were right. That's what I'm seeing in that card. The other saying is that Bible saying, pearls before swine. That's a similar one. Anyway, the next card you have, you passed, is the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, so yeah, you're working on this. This is something that was a part of you, and that's why I'm seeing it was probably something creative, spiritual, or something. It was something you had to work on. And again, you weren't being open about what you're doing. This man has his back to the town. You weren't quite the hermit, you weren't in that territory yet, but you were very guarded, and you were especially guarded around these people in the Seven of Cups. I think you've also moved on from a lot of things in your past. It's almost as if you're a completely different person now. Maybe you grew spiritually and you're different or whatever. And I think even a year ago, I think you're a different person from the way you were a year ago even. You might even look a bit different to then. And yeah, you worked your way out of a situation you weren't happy with. And I think at this time, I think you weren't completely separate from people, but you just wanted to be by yourself. You just want to get on with things. I don't know if this will make sense to you, but I think in the past, this is what you wanted to get away from. You might have felt watched or even monitored by people. And I think that this might be family, because it goes back way, way back, probably back when you were a child or a teenager. And you have this difficult family around you. And maybe these people in the Seven of Cups are your family as well. So maybe they're the same people. They might be. I'm getting this feeling of competitiveness. That was what was around this family. Competitiveness and being monitored. So it was like you're being watched and kind of compared to other people. That's what I'm seeing. There were people talking about where people are in life according to them, you know, who was ranked where. It was kind of like, oh, he's done well, you know, and this other person hasn't done well. They've been to that university. This other person has a better house. This other person has a small house. This person has a fantastic car. This person doesn't. It's all that kind of ridiculous rubbish. So you don't see things in that way, and I'm glad you don't, because it really is rubbish. It really is rubbish. Not everyone is looking for the same thing. You know, if you want a big house, that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want a car, if you want anything, that's absolutely fine. But it's the attitude toward that, and it's the way that some people compare themselves with other people, and if they have something that other people don't have, they like to say, I'm a better person. No, you're not a better person. You just have something different to what somebody else has, and they might not even want what you have. You don't know that. Different people like different things. They have different priorities. And so I think these people weren't accepting of any other people that weren't kind of in this silly race that they were in. And, you know, you're a very spiritual person. I'm seeing that in the Seven of Cups. You are. You know, there are way deeper things than these things, hidden things, things on different dimensions. And they go way beyond any of these silly things. But yeah, again, there was no point in talking to any of these people. There really isn't. So, again, I don't want to put them down, but it's almost as if these people saw life in one dimension. You know, what you have, what this other person has, and it really is very silly. But whereas you see things in several dimensions, and you just didn't want to relate to them. That's what I'm seeing. So if this resonates, you're absolutely on the right side and you're on the right track. Don't feel like, I know you do feel very separate from these people, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. Don't ever feel like that. I'm getting that you might be feeling like that, or that these people might be trying to make you feel like that. There's nothing wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. So the last card you have your past is the Hanged Man. So there is going to be a time, I think, there is going to be a time when you're going to have to be more open about what you're doing. Not necessarily in front of these people, but generally, they'll probably see anyway after a while, but generally you're going to have to be more open. And speaking of open, this is what I'm seeing. I just saw, I think there's going to be some kind of opening or something like that around this, some kind of launch opening, something like that. And I don't normally talk about timelines, but I'm seeing this clearly. I'm seeing the end of this year or the beginning of next year. So it's going to be around that time, December, January. Something's going to be launched, might be February, but kind of around that time. Something's going to be launched or opened around this spiritual or creative thing or whatever this is. You know, it might be a book launch, might be an art show, It could be something online, might be a business, might be a channel. Something is going to start at that time. The other thing I'm seeing here is there's someone you either had to let go of or you're thinking of letting them go. I don't know if you have let them go or not yet. I don't think you've known this person for very long. I'm just seeing, the way they were portraying themselves to you wasn't accurate. It wasn't right. They were pretending there was something, they were someone they weren't, or they were pretending something that wasn't correct. And I think you saw that. And I think it was very surprising to you. I think it was very shocking to you. Sometimes I see this card as a reflection because he's upside down, and, reflections in water can be upside down. So, but, reflections aren't real. They're not real. So that's what I'm seeing with this person. They're not real. So, it really sounds like you had all these horrible people around you. You didn't. You had some good people around you as well. But if this is all resonating, don't feel bad, because you might be thinking, oh, I've got all these horrible people around me. There must be something wrong with me. I have people who aren't who they say they are. I have people who I don't understand. They don't understand me. I'm a real fish out of water. I don't know what's wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. Absolutely nothing. And I think this is a really good thing that you found this out, because I think if things had have gone further with this person, it would have been much worse for you down the line. You would have been more invested in this person, and you discovered it early. I know it really hurts you. It's a big shock when you find out that someone's not who they say they are, but it's actually a good thing that you found it out early on. So I know you probably don't feel like that right now if you're still kind of stressed about this or upset, but you'll see that later on. You'll realize that later on. So the first card you have for your present is the Seven of Wands. So yeah, this is everywhere so far. So this is, again, feeling different from people around you. And it's kind of this feeling of, I just can't be myself. Why can't I be myself? Why can't I just be open? Why can't I just share things with my family and people like that? I know I can't, because if I did, there'd be a battle like the one on this card. So, and I just don't want a battle. So I think even though you knew you were doing the right thing, there was a lot of hurt around this, a lot of disappointment because you had this separation from them. You might be seeing people who had families who they were really happy with, they got along with, everyone was fine. They welcomed difference. They were happy to see people who did different things. They were accepting. And you're thinking, why can't I have that? But it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. Of course it matters. But don't feel bad about this. I think you've always known this anyway, that you were very different to a lot of these people. But I think at this time, it was probably magnified a lot more than it normally would be, because I think there are some planetary things going on, and I don't think that's the cause of this. I think you have real reasons to be feeling like this, but I think the atmosphere, things like that, they can magnify things, and they can make things a little bit more emotionally charged as well. So yeah, the other thing I'm seeing here is a love connection. And I think a part of this, or something about this love connection, might be hidden as well. Maybe from, I don't think they're hiding anything from you. I think it's like you're trying to keep this a little bit quiet as well from these people, probably for similar reasons. I don't think you're totally hiding them, but maybe you're hiding some things about this just so that you didn't have drama around it. I also think you might have had a few problems with an ex and their family. So I think you're kind of laying low in this new relationship to kind of make sure there wasn't any drama from anywhere around them. You're really protecting yourself and you're protecting them. With all these people around you, I'm surprised the Hermit or the Four of Swords isn't here. I think these people are just exhausting you. I'm feeling the exhaustion around this, and this poor man up here is battling and he's very exhausted as well. So yeah. So the next card you have your present is the Five of Swords. Okay, so more battle. So I think this is another reminder to you to keep on doing what you're doing. Keep yourself to yourself. Keep up with this limited interaction, especially with people who are problems for you, causing you problems. Because this is a battle, and this is a battle that nobody wins. This man's taken all these swords, he's holding 3 of them, and the other ones he's taken as well from these other 2 men. But what's the point of this? He only needs 1. And the other men are thinking this as well. They're thinking, what's the point? I'm just going to walk away. There's no point in battling this anymore. Everyone's just going to feel worse. Who cares? I'm just going to walk away from this. So if you're ever tempted to justify yourself or explain yourself or even argue or battle with any of these people who are kind of baiting you and asking you things, don't ever do that, because I am seeing some of them wanting to ask you questions and sort of bait you and kind of say, oh, what are you doing that for? Why are you doing that? Oh, and kind of laughing. They're still going to try to do that. Just totally grey rock them. Don't rise to the bait, don't battle, don't argue, don't say anything. If they say, oh, what are you doing? Just say, oh, nothing much, just been busy. Just be vague, don't say anything. I think that's the way you're going to have to play. Because I think if you do battle them, if you do go into an argument or talk or whatever with them, you're just going to have negative words going around in your head later on. You're going to bring the negative energy from this conversation into your life later on, and nobody needs that around them, especially you at this time, because this is a very emotionally charged time for you. You're feeling things a lot deeper than you normally would, and yeah, that's the last thing you need right now. So the last card you have for your past is Strength, which I love. I love this card. So yeah, to me this is about patience. I think this might be about this love connection, who I was seeing in the 7 of Wands. So I think they're probably going through some difficult times. I think they might be anticipating some difficult times, actually. I'm actually seeing some work or some money problems around this person. I think there's something, this is something that's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. It's something that is either going to happen or they're anticipating that it might happen. It's kind of like, oh, I know this kind of thing might be on the horizon. I'm really stressed. I'm anticipating this thing. I know it's a possibility. This is how they're feeling, I think. So, it might be something like job layoffs. It's some kind of uneasy or unsettling thing like that. So if this is resonating with you, I think at this time you're just having to be patient. You're having to be careful with this person. They're probably very touchy or stressed and all of that. So I think you were keeping quiet around these people, around that. And I think you're doing this to protect yourself and your partner, if that's the case, because they're all, what I was seeing was there's a lot of materialism. I'm seeing that in the 8 of Pentacles, that they're very kind of competitive. They're into this materialism. And I think if this partner of yours or this person, if they lost their job or they knew that was coming up or whatever, they'd be saying, oh, they lost their job. Oh, they can't pay for this and they can't pay for that. And we can, we've got this. And they'd start all of that drama again. You did not want that. So you're protecting the relationship from that, and you're also protecting this person. You're taking care of this person, protecting them from all of this possible negative energy, just like this beautiful woman's taking care of this line. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the first card you have for your future is the 5 of Cups. Yes. Okay, so here's this isolation again that you're feeling, and you're probably still feeling like that, but it's definitely going to pass for you soon, especially this anxiety about not being able to share things with people. This anxiety is going to lift very soon. I don't think they're going to change, sad to say. I don't think they'll ever change, but the feeling you have around them and the feeling you have when you think about them, that's going to change, and that's a really crucial thing. That's a really important thing. I was seeing this opening, this launch in the Hanged Man, and I think as you keep on working toward that, I think in the time between now and that launch, that time then, your confidence is going to start growing with this, and I think you're also going to meet some like-minded people, some people who understand you, that have the same kind of ideals, the same kind of focus as you. It's going to be fantastic. They're going to really welcome you, and you're going to feel so much better. It just makes me think of, I don't know if I've said this before, you're probably not interested, but it's an example I was thinking of. I used to feel that around myself. I make art. I haven't made as much as I used to, but I used to make a lot of art, and there were some people around me who just didn't understand that. They're all, oh, abstract art, that doesn't mean anything. My 5-year-old could draw that or whatever, all that kind of rubbish. And I went to this, I applied for this very, very prestigious art school, and it sounds like I'm showing off, but I applied for this, and I went to walk around in this place, and I was looking at a picture on the wall, and somebody came up behind me and they started talking to me about this painting. And at that moment I realized, this person understands me, I understand them. I can just have this relaxing, beautiful conversation about this painting. We both know what we're talking about. We both understand each other. And it was just amazing. And I hadn't experienced that with the people who were around me. So yeah, I did get into the school, but I couldn't go. I couldn't do it. That's a whole nother story. I won't go into that now. But that's how I felt. And this is how you're going to feel when you meet these people who have similar interests to you, and you're going to meet them through this thing. So you're suddenly going to feel like, I'm at home, I have people around me who understand me, and it's going to be fantastic for you. So yeah, I think when you're in this isolation, and you're probably in this now because I think you're feeling quite anxious, all alone, all of that, a bit like this man in the 5 of Cups. So, it can be really hard to see yourself fitting in anywhere at all, but you are going to be able to do that. I think this man, he has to lift his head up eventually. He can't be like that forever. When he lifts his head up, what he's going to see in front of him is beautiful, beautiful landscape in front of him, a beautiful river, a castle, everything. And so that's what you're going to see when you come out of this isolation period. When you've worked your way out of this, you come out, you meet these people, and you're just going to feel like, wow, look at what's in front of me. This is fantastic. That's the feeling I'm getting on that card. This is usually a negative card, but I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing you coming out of this in this card. So it's beautiful. I'm so happy to see that.